What should your teen do whenever they get pulled over by the police? This is a question that somebody asked me last night in the group, and they sent me a message and they were like, what do we teach our kids when it comes to getting pulled over by the police? And so one of the main things that person asked, they said, should they call mom and dad first, or should they try to talk to the police and then report back, or what do they need to teach them how to do? So one of the most important things that anybody can deal with whenever they're getting pulled over by law enforcement, whether it's for a speeding ticket or seatbelt violation or anything else, is you want to make sure you comply with what the officer is asking you to do. That's very important here because you're in their zone, right? You are at the mercy of the police at that time, and the last thing you want to do is mouth off to them or create some sort of negative tension between you and the police officer. So you want to make sure they get their license and their insurance and registration, and they get that to the police officer, and then they go along with the police if they had an infraction or they did something wrong. And then potentially even ask the officer, hey, I'm a teenager. Do you mind if I call my parents about this incident or whatever? And then I've even seen it where police officers will insist on calling the parents or even escort the teenager home to the parents' house. So police officers like to know that there's parental involvement. And so that is something that could potentially go a long way with maybe helping your child out with that infraction or whatnot. The last thing you want to do is have somebody mouthing off to a police officer or talking back to them or trying to try to hide anything or try to be in any way, shape, or form that'll create a negative situation out of that traffic stop. So again, you don't want to teach the kids to necessarily say, oh, let me call mom and dad right away. You might want to have them talk to the police officer and mention that it's a good idea that, hey, look, you mind if I call my mom and dad to ask them what needs to happen here? And then a lot of times the police officer will be very reasonable. So again, this is Seth Smiley from the Smiley Law Firm, and this is another edition of Parents of Teen Drivers Facebook group. And if you have any questions or any issues wherever you've had situations with police officers, whether they were good or bad, I've actually got some funny ones from friends through the years that they have. And so feel free to direct message me or ask me about those, and I'll be happy to share them. Thank you very much.